Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ask Dubey. This episode is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. All right, we'll dive right in today. We're in the last few weeks of the dog days of summer where there's not a lot going on. I know everyone's probably as excited as I am to get this season going and get training camp going. So looking forward to that and looking forward to getting back on with you guys weekly. So make sure you keep your questions coming in. First question this week, dear Dubes, when will Connor sign? Thanks in advance. I don't have a lot of inside information for you on this one. Connor will sign when Connor wants to sign. This is such a unique scenario to have a player that is so obviously the best player on the planet and not taken away from anybody else, but he just is that. He is in a position where he is going to get whatever he wants, and he's going to be for whatever term he wants. And Edmonton knows that. Edmonton's going to do whatever they can. It's just the unique scenario that they're going to be piecing together how long it is and if he's going to take the max. If he wants the max, he's earned the max. He deserves every penny that they can give him. He's the best player on the planet. The rules are in place. The CBA is there. The cap. He's earned every penny that he wants. So if they want to try to get him to shave a little bit off, go in at 18.5 or 19, whatever that is totally up to him. And it's easy for people to say, oh, you should take a discount so you can pay on someone else. But you know what? Again, he's earned every penny and deserves every penny for being the player that he is. And so it's not selfish to take the max, which is what he's worth and what he's earned. If he wants to shave something off, that's up to him. But I certainly don't think people should be looking at him differently if he takes the max contract, what he's allowed to, because he's certainly worth it. People are asking the same question about Kaprizov here in Minnesota. So they obviously offered him a huge ticket. He hasn't signed yet. Everyone's freaking out. I don't know if he will re-sign. I haven't heard a reason that he hasn't. People are saying since he hasn't signed that contract that he's not going to re-sign. But listen, we're talking about a lot of money over potentially 8 years. Every little bit adds up. You got to times every $500,000, every $1 million on that deal is times 8. So it doesn't seem like a ton in the grand scheme when obviously the lump sum is huge. But there's not a deadline either immediately for him to sign. Kind of the same goes for Connor. There's not a deadline at training camp right now that he can't come to training camp if he's not signed. So they're going to take their time. And I think the situation with McDavid is just more unique, where they're almost planning their future and structuring, figuring out what they're going to do based off of what his contract is going to look like. But in the end, you're going to give Connor McDavid whatever Connor McDavid wants. And I think he's the leader of the team. He's the captain of the team. He's the heart of that city. And so he's going to want to make sure that, this is a huge point in his career as well, because if it's a max contract, if it's 8 years down the road, he's going to be closer to the end of his career at that point. And these are the windows that he wants to win. So he obviously wants to make sure that the future of the team and the structure, and that there's a plan in place so that if he does commit all this time to being with the Oilers and commit to the Oilers for a long stretch of time, that he's going to have the opportunity to win one or more Stanley Cups during that time. So I think that's all the conversation that's going on right now. And obviously Edmonton fans are going to be on the edge of their seats until he does sign. But as of right now, it certainly doesn't look like there's any reason that he wouldn't. It just might take longer than everybody expected. All right, next question, more of a goalie question, not Oilers related, from Fighting Amish. What is your favorite goalie equipment company that no longer exists? I love my Coho setup when I was a kid. Topped it off with a Cooper helmet setup like Hasek. Well, I hope I don't offend you, but I don't know about the Cooper helmet setup, both safety-wise and looks, but some people love it, so I'm sure it looked great. But I got a couple answers to this one. When I was, I love the Coho Revolution. When I was a kid, my first pair of pads were a street hockey version, basically, of Felix Potvins Coho pads with the cat claws on the bottom. Those were unreal. He had some of the best gear set up around. So the Coho Revolution was great. You got Cooper in there that was took over by Bauer. One that I loved that I never personally wore myself, but loved it with the NHL goalies was Heaton. Heaton had some incredible setups, and a lot of NHL goalies wore them. Marty Brodeur, Olaf Kolzig, big guy that I used to love watching play. A lot of great Heaton setups as well. I think I've seen now that you can custom do pads. I think I've seen some Heaton throwbacks in there. So Marty Brodeurs were always cool with kind of the way he worked the Devils logo in there, and how they kind of built those into commercial. It was cool because that was a time when it wasn't easy to make. Now with the pads, it's really cool how they can do all the custom prints, and you can do whatever you want and whatever design and colors. And back then that wasn't the case, the way they built pads, and Marty Brodeur was so good that they built these pads as New Jersey Devils pads, but they became Marty Brodeur pads, but they were selling commercially, and they were basically New Jersey Devils pads. So that was pretty cool. The Coho stuff, I mean, that's interesting. Little bit off topic here, but just throughout, Coho was, I mean, Lefebvre was the creator of Coho, and he's kind of gone all the way through now. CCM purchased Coho way back when they took over. Lefebvre designed for them. He designed for them. Now he's moved to True. He moved to True and designed for True goalie pads, and now has moved and he has his own brand of Lefebvre. So he's kind of had his hands on just about every piece of goalie equipment besides Bauer, I think, throughout. So I love goalie equipment and just the styles. I think it's so cool now how custom you can be. It was one of my favorite things when Bauer switched and was able to print off the pads, getting to work with a graphic designer each year. And I didn't do anything crazy, but I get to work with a graphic designer each year and kind of just come up with my own ideas, or he would give me a bunch of options and I would kind of go from there and pick. But getting to have my own unique style and design on my pads and not just have to work with a different team colors of their stock, made it a lot more exciting. It was almost like painting a helmet with goal pads, and it's really cool that kids and youth players now have that opportunity to really customize their pads and gloves and blocker. It's a pretty cool thing that I get jealous. I've got 2 goalies now of my own, and they've got pretty good gear setups, and I'm not sure who likes it more, me or them. But I'm definitely still living through them with the goalie equipment. I love getting them set up nice and getting the colors good and everything. So it's one of my favorite parts of being a goalie. Okay, on to the next question from our friend Lance Kane. We might have to have our own Lance Kane video one week. Maybe we'll do an extra one week and we'll just answer Lance's questions because he's got lots of them. He's always got good questions. This one from Lance Kane says, what was it like to see yourself in a video game series? Did you play as yourself, and did you care about the rating and stats they gave you in the game? That's a great question. Me personally, I played NHL growing up. I never got big into it. As I started to get, the more difficult it got, the worse I got at it. So we always play for fun. It was super cool to see myself when I was in Edmonton and starting to pop into games. Rating was never great in Edmonton, but it's more cool now with my kids and their friends. They don't play a ton, but they will. And we kept, I don't remember if it's NHL 2018 or NHL 2019 that we've kept on the PlayStation, because I'm in that one and I'm a starter and I got a pretty good rating in that one. So I like to hang on to that one. And it's really cool for the kids when they have their friends over, if they're going to play it or whatever. I always go up and it's always Minnesota versus Minnesota, and they're both playing as me. And so I like to stand over there and every time someone scores, I break my goal down and give myself a hard time, and the kids think it's pretty funny. So it's cool. It's kind of surreal. It's a little less surreal now. The games, you kind of get used to the technology and what you expect out of everything. So it's a little more normal seeing yourself in there. But certainly when you first make the league and you see yourself in a video game, it's pretty surreal. It took me a few years to work my way up the rankings as far as ratings go. I don't think a lot of people were playing with me early on, but better in the later Minnesota years, and that's when my kids like to play. All right, on to the next one from Graham Hampton. What is the best rink/atmosphere you played in? And that is a great question. I get asked that a lot. I unfortunately never got to play in Edmonton Oilers playoff atmosphere. I don't think I've watched it. I've been there. I watched it in 2006. I watched it the last couple years. I don't think there's anything that compares to an Oilers playoff atmosphere. It's absolutely mind-blowing. The noise level, the excitement. One of the best places you can play. Like I said, unfortunately, I never got to play in that, but I've witnessed it for almost 20 years now. And it's just absolutely incredible. But for myself, playing wise, I've got two. One that was really cool and really intense when I was younger. Actually, when I was in Edmonton early on, was Chicago. Chicago's a unique building. I think it's the biggest building in the league. When they're full, it's almost 20. I think it's over 23,000 people in there, and so it is that's an extra 4,000 or 5,000 on top of a sold out regular rink, and it's significant when you look up. It's like the rink just keeps going and going all the way to the top. And at the start of my career there, that's when they were winning 1, 2, 3 Stanley Cups. So their team was really good. The atmosphere was incredible. One story I'll never forget in Chicago was my first year. I hadn't played in Chicago yet, and it was the game after the trade deadline. And so this was 2010, and the Olympics had finished a little bit earlier, and it was trade deadline. So we just lost. We were selling the farm. Obviously, we were at the bottom of the barrel of the standings, and so I think we just lost Steve Staios, and we had some guys on injury as well. A bunch of our veteran guys were out. So we traded for a couple veteran guys, but they hadn't arrived yet. So we had, I want to say, 7 or 8 call-ups from the American League on our team for this game due to the trade deadline. And that was the night they were honoring the Olympians that had played in the Olympics for the Blackhawks that had gotten medals or just played. And I remember doing the math and sitting there and on the blue line before the game started. I was already nervous enough as it was. And they announced all of their Olympic players, their Team Canada players and their Team USA players, and I think Hossa was there from Slovakia, and I started doing the math, and they had more Olympic players, or they had the same amount of Olympic players as we had call-ups from the American League. So didn't help the nerves at all. I got to stand there and think about how much we were in one before the game even started. And it went about how you'd expect. We lost 5-2. I think we got outshot 52-11. And we were hanging in there, though. It was 2-2 after 2, and I think the shots were 47-9. So we managed to put 2 on in the third and let it get out of control. But it was that was an experience for sure, but one I'll never forget. And I think my favorite place that I only got to play at once a year, because I always played in the West, was Montreal. Montreal is a very unique atmosphere. Every single game of the year is electric. I was always playing, Edmonton easier because it's a Canadian team, and so that excitement's there. But even with Minnesota, not a rivalry, not a midweek game, Minnesota going into Montreal, it was absolutely electric. And the way the stadium's built, very steep stands, so when you get in there, it feels like everybody's right on top of you. It's packed for warm up. It's just that there's a lot of places that have exciting atmospheres that are loud. There's just something unique about Montreal, just the feeling in there. The excitement, it's the center of attention in the city, regardless of what game it is, regardless if it's game 40, game 1, game 82. It's absolutely electric in there, and any unique experience as well. Just being in that building is really, really cool. All right, guys, that's it for another episode of Ask Dubey. Looking forward to getting back on weekly here. As always, keep your questions coming in using the hashtag AskDubey on any social media, or drop your question in the comments section below here. Keep them coming in. I love doing this. I love answering all questions about everything to do with goaltending, hockey, Oilers, whatever you want. Throw it in there and we'll get it answered. As always, this segment is brought to us by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, Wilhauk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. It's so good. Wilhauk Beef Jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can order online. Get your jerky on. For more info, go to wilhaukbeefjerky.com.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.